Hi everybody, it's Kim from Piper Designs, and we are going to be making this card today. I want to start a new card series. Hopefully you can see this, sorry. It's a birthday card that I actually made for one of my son's very good friends. And then he decided to make her his own card, but he liked it so much that he said, Mom, you should make a video about this. So hopefully you guys like this. It's a pretty straightforward card. It looks a little bit in depth, and it uses some of my favorite new stamp sets. So here we go. Let's see what we can do here. So I'm just starting out with a card base that I actually have already cut, and the card base is an 8.5 by 11 cut in half, so that it is 8.5 by 8.5 by 5.5. And I'm just going to score it here with my Martha Stewart scoring board. You'll see I really have a love for Martha Stewart, Martha Stewart tools. So this is her scoring board. I don't use the bone folder that comes with it. I use just a regular, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. I like to use this better. It just tends to do the paper better. This paper is 120 pound cardstock. I think it's 120 pound cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. It's a beautiful shiny paper, really heavy weight, great for making a card base. Probably don't even need it because this is a multi-layer card, but it's my favorite, so I'm going to use it anyway. Okay, so get that out of the way. And today, let me show you some of the papers that we're going to be using. I'm working with Sweet Day by Echo Park. This is a collection that they came out with last year. It's got some really pretty 6x6 patterns in here, if you can see some of the patterns. They are double-sided, and here, I'll flip it over as soon as it gets back to the beginning so you can see the other sides. But anyway, I took the papers out of here because I haven't used it very much, and it seemed like a really good little girl's birthday collection. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to pull out this paper right here. I'm going to use the back side of it, actually. And I need to trim it out with my, of course, Martha Stewart trimmer. I actually normally use a guillotine trimmer that I have, but for the video I will do this. Now I am trimming this out. I'll be happy to post the measurements if you'd like, but I'm trimming this out at excuse me, at 4 inches. Oh, sorry, 4 inches by 5 1/4, and hang on a second, I need to do this way. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of an issue here with my trimmer. It's not usually a pain in the butt, but today it's giving me problems. Anyway, so this is 5 inches, 5 1/4 by 4 inches, which is just slightly smaller than my card base, and I have a little bit of a dent in this. This is what's distracting me. I have a little bit of a dent in my paper for some reason. So anyway, we'll just, hopefully we won't bother me for too long. And then I have this piece of paper, which is just going to be a very pretty little trim. Sorry, I closed up my trimmer because I was so distracted by the bent paper. And I just want about, I don't know, about maybe an inch, inch and a half. Let's do an inch and a half. I think I only did an inch though. Does that look like an inch to you? Looks like an inch to me. I don't really remember. It looks a little larger than that. We'll do an inch and a half. How's that? And you guys can see which one you like better. Okay, so this is an inch and a half by, again, the 5 1/4, the height of the card. So put that here at 5 1/4. Wait, I want to trim off the gummed edge. If you're working with 6x6 papers and you rip them out like I did, you definitely want to make sure that you are trimming off the gummed edge, the top edge, when you're doing it, so that you end up with clean edges. Okay, so now we have trimmed our 2 pattern papers, and it's going to look something like this. Yeah, that is wider than my other one. Something like this, and then we are going to do a little bit of stamping. Now I stamped this on a slightly different color last time, but I'm going to stamp it on here because I think it will be just as pretty. Now, I'm working with a brand new stamp set by Close to My Heart. I am a Close to My Heart rep if anybody wants to get a hold of this. It was the stamp of the month for May, but it is still available. You still can get it. It just will cost you actually full price, which is, I think, $17.99, something like that, $95, you know, somewhere in there. Anyway, and so I'm stamping this on a pink that came out of that same paper packet. And your stamp sets, if you get them, they come like this. They have a little bit of a sticky like foam backer to it, and this is great for stamping on top of because it gives you a little bit of a cushion, and it'll give you a much cleaner impression than if you stamp it flat. So, I knew I forgot something. I forgot my stamp blocks. Okay, so we are going to stamp this larger piece right here, putting this on a lovely stamp block, and I am using, close to my heart, I'm using Gold Rush on this, which is a really pretty yellow. Sorry, I'm trying to do this upside down for you guys, so try to face it the right way. Oh, I always have trouble getting them open though without getting ink on my fingers. I just get ink on my fingers every time. Every time, have to keep something nearby. Okay, so you're just going to want to ink up your stamp. If you've, I'm sure that most of you have done this before, but if you haven't, you know, this is the way I do it. I usually swish it around a little bit and then tap it, so I find it gives me the best ink coverage. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to throw this in a corner so that I use up as little of my paper as possible, and press it down. When you use a big block like this, you want to make sure you do press it in the middle, not just on the edges, to give you a clear impression on your stamp. Now the other stamp that I'm going to use, I'm going to go ahead and do them both at the same time here. I'm wiping off my stamp with a little wet wipe, which is not what Close to My Heart recommends, but too bad, that's how I do it. So I'm not getting out a little scrubby brush at this point. Okay, and then the other ink that I'm using is called Smoothie. And it looks like it's kind of a peachy color, but it's really pretty close to red. I've found that it's a really pretty red color. I really like it a lot. So, see, I've got to get all the ink on there. Missing a spot. Alright, perfect. Okay, and then since I'm cutting this out, I'm just putting it right next to each other. Now, there is actually a Cricut cartridge that Close to My Heart has. Cricut Artiste. I think this is an Artiste one. Yeah, Cricut Artiste. That will actually cut this piece out. You can cut this piece out with that Cricut cartridge if you have it. I'm just a little bit lazy to pull out my Cricut for one little piece like that. If I were doing multiples, then I probably would, but not for this. Okay, closing up my inks. I'm going to dry them out, and so I can just get all the ink on my hands at one time. All right, so fantastic. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to trim these out, and I'm going to go ahead and do that, but I will come back after I've trimmed it because you guys probably don't want to watch me do that. Okay. So I am back here with my two little pieces that I have already cut out, and you know, I could just poke a hole in them to do my brad. I'm going to stick a brad in them, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use an actual hole punch because I find that it makes it more accurate, and I figure it allows the top piece to move a little bit if I want. So this is an 1/8 inch hole punch by Fiskars. I love Fiskars. They have fantastic tools, really, really great tools. They've been around forever, of course. Okay, so I've just cut these two out. I punched these two little holes in them, and I'm going to stick them together and stick a brad in. I'd tell you what brand the brad is, but I don't honestly know. The way I store my brads, I kind of store them by color, so I pull them out of the packets to make it easier. Just put my brad on there, and then see, this guy can kind of move around a little bit. Not that he's going to be floating on the card, but I like to be able to move him. So I'm going to do that, and I am going to put a little bit of foam adhesive on him, and then we can move on to starting to put the card together. So easy, by the way. Did I mention how much I love this particular stamp set? It's so cool. This is the back side of that pink paper, by the way. It's a very pretty yellow check, which I guess I shouldn't want to get rid of, but whatever. I really like it. Okay. So we'll leave that and we'll get that ready. That'll be on the front of the card. So back to the front of the card. So we have our card pieces here somewhere. What did I do with them? Okay, here they are. Sorry. Alright, so I am starting like this. I learned this from Christina Werner, who does this, where she does her card fronts not on her card base. I'm going to put this... Yeah, you know what I am. I'm going to go ahead and put it right here, and then that way I can cover most of it up. So I'm just going to adhere this down. As you can see, I don't really measure things, and when I do, I don't remember what I measured them at. So yeah, I'm just going to put this little piece down here, and do my best to line it up. I'm not nearly as careful. The nice thing is this has little, it's hard to see these little lines on here, but they've got pretty nice, these little dots are even, so you can pretty much see if you're really crooked or not. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there, and then I'm going to stamp on with black ink. I'm going to go ahead and stamp the last piece of this, which is the stem for, let's see if that'll fit on there. I guess it'll fit on here. Yeah, we're gonna have to get another block. Okay, the stem, except it's not straight. Okay, so if you want to do these straight, these long little sticky things, you have to drop them down. You can't do what I did and just try to place it on. So there we go. All right, so I'm just gonna ink this up. This is black ink, again, close to my heart, dye ink. Love the ink. And I'm gonna stick it. I can't stick it too far over because I don't want it to stick off my thing, off the side of the card. All right, there we go. Nice and easy. See that pretty image? This is what photopolymer does for you. For those of you who use clear stamps and don't know the difference and may wonder why some clear stamps are a lot more expensive than others, it's because they're made out of a different material. This is clear photopolymer, and it gets a really clean image with all different types of ink. If you use acrylic stamps, which I have lots of, I'm not speaking out against acrylic stamps. I like them very much. But a clear acrylic stamp will not give you a clean image until it's very well seasoned with a dye ink. You really need to use a pigment ink or a stays-on kind of an ink. Okay, so that's going to go there, and this is going to go here. Here, I'll turn it around so you guys can see how pretty that's going to be. Yeah, isn't that going to be so pretty? And now I just need to do my sentiment, which, you know what, I kind of forgot to bring my paper over, but that's okay. I'm just going to use, yeah, I'm going to have to go get a piece of paper. Sorry. Okay, here's a little scrap. Just needed a little scrap. And I am again stamping. I'm going to put this underneath it, my little foam thing underneath it to make the stamping better. And this is a Hero Art stamp set. I don't remember what it's called, but it's something about birthday wishes. It's all birthday stamps. I don't know if you can see that here. Let me put it against something white so you can see it better. But yeah, it's an awesome set. I love these little, they look like headlights to me, you know, that they're all lit up like in Vegas, you know what I'm talking about. So here, we're going to go ahead and stick this on my block. It's the beauty of a block this size, you just keep using the same block. Okay, and I'm going to stamp this again in Smoothie ink from Close to My Heart. Now the thing I love about Close to My Heart is that it mixes so well with other lines, other stamps, other everything. I became a consultant because I just love their products. They don't usually sell much in the way of it, but it's a really good brand, and their products are so pretty. The designs are good, the colors are good. Okay, that's a little blotchy, but I don't really care that much, so I'm not going to do it over again. Some people in the world are card perfectionists. I am not one of those people. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and punch this out. This is an EK Success. It's a label punch. I love this. I have two different designs of label punches from EK Success, and even though I have, you know, plenty of just hand-done dies, things like that, I just always love these the best because you can just sit here. See how I can do this? I can just line it up within my window wherever I want it to be, make sure it's as straight as it's going to be, and then just punch it out. It has these little brackets that I don't care about, but and they store clothes like this. They're flat, and they have a little design on the front so you can stack them up. Love them, love them. Okay, so I'm going to take this, and I decided when I did this earlier today that it needed the white was a little too bright for the white that's in here. It's kind of an off-white. So I am going to go ahead and ink the edges. This is bamboo ink, which is kind of a light yellow tan color. Now I use various different sponges. If you have, you know, there's like, you know, the sponging tool or the blending tool from Tim Holtz, but I don't really want that much stuff on here. I just want it right along the edge, just to kind of tone down the white. So again, Tim Holtz, I love his products, but I only use it when I'm going to use a lot of ink on it. Okay, so that's just a little bit of ink, as you can see. It just needs Just needed a little bit to kind of calm down. Okay, calm down that white. All right, and last but not least, I am getting out my Copic marker. This is Copic. This is Y21 Buttercup Yellow. Can you see that? Y21 Buttercup Yellow. And I'm just going to color in my little, what did I call them, headlights? They look like a neon sign to me. So I'm just coloring these in really fast. I'm not taking a lot of care with the detail. As long as I'm not going too far out of the lines, I figure it looks like a handmade card if it goes a little out of the lines, right? So yeah, so I was really excited about this card. I was kind of sad that my son decided to give his little girlfriend something different, but you know what? He's 6, and who can beat a 6-year-old's card, right? Like, no way I could make as cool of a card as a 6-year-old. Okay, then I'm gonna add a little bit of bling. This is from the Nantucket Pink Paisley line. It's I actually got this with a kit, and I never thought I would use it because I'm not really into like the big bling. But I realized they have these really cool little clusters. You see them? Can you see them there? They're like little clusters of gems, and it's just perfect for this card to be able to take up just a little cluster like that and stick it down below here. Just adds the perfect amount of something. Okay, so we are just about done. Okay, so I just need to pop up everything with my foam dots, and I'm going to glue this onto my card base first. Yeah, am I doing that right? There we go. Just having a little bit of issue with my adhesive. I actually normally don't use Tombow Mono. This is Tombow, permanent adhesive, exactly. But I've come to really appreciate it when I had to shut down my studio because they were painting in here, and I had to kind of survive off of a very small amount of crafting supplies. This was really perfect for me. I realized why so many people use it. Okay, so there we go. That corner is still bugging me. I might have to put, you know what? I'm going to put a tiny bit, if I can get it out, tiny bit of liquid adhesive there. It's not something I normally do, but that fold has just been bugging me. So now I just can't get I keep a little pin here in my, this is Scotch Quick Dry. It's perfect for just a little tiny problem like this. Excuse my head, I know my head's probably in the way, but I can't see if I don't put my head there. Okay, there we go. A little bit too much adhesive, take that off. But at least it'll flatten down my corner. That stupid corner. Okay, this is a rule. This is why everyone should learn to take good care of their paper pads. Don't squish them around. All right, so need to find my dimensional adhesive so I can add some more to this. I'm always curious how much dimensional adhesive people add to things. I feel like I add a lot sometimes. I just don't want it to fall down. If you think about that, leave me a comment. Tell me how much dimensional adhesive you use. Like, you can see, I feel like I use a lot, but maybe I'm just normal. Or maybe it's a little and I just don't know it. I'm always trying to conserve my supplies, and there's like a, the balance between making sure that the supplies you are saving your supplies and yet still doing it right. Okay, so we have that, and then we need my pinwheel, which is right here. Take all the backs off of this one. And we're almost done. I did stamp the inside of this card with that cool stamp as well, but I will save you the pain of watching me stamp in color again. I'll just show you the inside of the other one and finish it later. Okay, and we are just about done. Look at that. Look how pretty. Okay, and then I'm going to turn that because I like it like that. All right, and there you have it. There is our card for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I will list all of the supplies on my blog and at the bottom of this post. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message and let me know what you'd like to see. Talk to you later. Have a great night.